Good morning, children. So in the last session we have done some problems. We studied about energy. If you have textbooks, please go through the worker examples so that you still gain perfection in doing the problem. Once you come back to the classes, we'll solve all the numericals. I have done whatever 5 or 6 problems I have done in the last session. I have picked the problems from the numericals itself. I have not solved worker examples. So if you have textbooks, or else if you need, you just message me. I will scan those worker problems and once again post it in the WhatsApp group. So we have studied about energy. So we studied that energy is the capacity to do work. Okay, but energy is not in one form. We have different forms of energy. See, we call if I ask you define light or what is sound or what is light, you just say light is a form of energy, sound is a form of energy. In the same way, we have different forms of energy in this universe. Okay, so we'll try to look into almost all the forms of energy, which we'll be coming across in our day-to-day situations, our daily situations. So I'll start with the mechanical forms of energy. So a body, either it will be at rest or it will be in motion. Am I correct? A body will be either at rest or in motion. So depending on whether the body is at rest or in motion, it will be having different types of energy there. It will be possessing mechanical energy. If it is at rest, then due to the state of its rest or the state of its where it is placed, it will be having potential energy. If it is in motion, then it will be having kinetic energy. Therefore, the mechanical energy can be broadly classified into 2 types, that is potential energy and kinetic energy. So mechanical energy, I can classify it into 2 types. Potential energy, then kinetic energy. Potential energy and kinetic energy. So what is potential energy? See, potential energy, once again I can classify it into 2 types. Potential energy due to the gravitational potential energy, and elastic potential energy. Okay, once again I start here. Say a body will always be possessing energy. It possesses either potential energy or kinetic energy. So we will be broadly classifying it into 2 types of energy, there is potential energy and kinetic energy. If a body is at a certain state, the state it will define how much of potential energy it has got. Okay, that potential energy once again can broadly be classified into gravitational potential energy and elastic potential energy. So let us discuss one by one here. Now the potential energy, as I said you, when the body is at rest, the energy possessed by that body, we call it as potential energy, because if it is at a certain height, it will be having some energy. If it is at a more height, it will be having more energy in that way. To say, if I take one elastic body, if I pull a bit, it will be having some energy. If I pull it a bit longer, then it will be having more elastic potential energy. So we will discuss one by one here. Now, gravitational potential energy. What is gravitational potential energy? Say, if a body is at infinity, somewhere else, so there you won't have any force due to gravitation. So we will consider that a body at infinity will be having 0 potential energy. So the work done in bringing that body which is at infinity to a point in the gravitational field, or say surface of the earth, let us say, or a point in the gravitational field, that work done in bringing a body from infinity to a point in the gravitational field, we call it as gravitational potential energy. Okay, so the work done, and if you remember in the earlier session I told you whatever work we do on a body will be stored as energy in the body. This is what we have discussed earlier. The same way, the work done in bringing a body from infinity. At infinity, what will be the potential energy? At infinity, the potential energy of the body will be zero. Why it will be zero? Because there won't be any force due to gravity, or there won't be any gravitational force acting at that infinity. So what we are doing now, we are bringing from zero into the gravitational field. When we are bringing into the gravitational field against the gravitational force, then we need to do some work. That amount of work done in bringing that body from infinity to the point in the gravitational field, we call it as potential gravitational energy. But for our reference, what we do, we take the surface of the earth, the potential energy or the gravitational potential energy on the surface of the earth is zero. We consider that for our reference. We don't talk about infinity here, but we take it as the reference as the surface of the earth, where the potential energy of the body on the surface of the earth will be zero. Now, when the potential energy on the surface of the earth is zero, as I take it to a height h, let us say this body is having a mass. Okay, so as it is at a height h, then how much of energy it will be possessing? So here it is zero. Here it is zero. So the body will be, the force will be pulling in this direction, that is gravitational force. So how much of force? The force will be mg. We have learned, I taught you this in our last session when I was doing some problems. So what is the force acting on the body which is at a height h? The force acting on the body is mg. What is mg here? M is the mass of the body. What is g here? G is the acceleration due to gravity. So it is at a height h. Okay, it is at a height h. Therefore, what is the potential energy of the body here? Therefore, the potential energy of the body is mgh. What is mgh here? Once again, let us go back to what is the work done. What is work done? F into s. What is F here? F is nothing but mg. What is S here? It is nothing but the height. Therefore, when we do a work to lift a body from the surface of the earth to a certain height h, then the body will possess a potential energy of mgh. Therefore, the potential energy we represent, or the formula for potential energy will be taking it as, will be denoting it as U. That is, the potential energy will be equal to mgh, where mg is the force due to gravity and height h is the height. Okay, height at which it is from the surface of the earth. So here, for our to make our things easy, what we do, we consider the surface of the potential energy of the surface of the earth as zero. As you take the body to a certain height, it will be, we are doing some work against the force of gravity. So as we are doing work against the force of gravity, that body is gaining some energy. How much of energy it has gained when it has reached a height h? It has gained energy of mgh, where mg is the gravitational force and h is the height of the body at which from the surface of the earth. So this formula we call it as, we say that it is the formula for to calculate the potential energy of the body, where m is the mass of the body, g is the acceleration due to gravity, and h is the height from the surface of the earth. So this is potential, gravitational potential energy. Okay, and I want to make it one point very clear here. See, the potential energy can't be used directly to our benefit or to make it work. We need to convert that potential energy into kinetic energy. That we study later. So conversion of potential energy to kinetic energy, we study that conversion with different examples later. For the time being, you understand that the potential energy of the body or the potential energy of the body is given by U is equal to mgh, where m is the mass of the body, g is the acceleration due to gravity, and h is the height through which the body is kept at a certain height. So here we are changing the state of the body. Here, now let me take once again, do a small this one here. here U is equal to 0. U is equal to 0 means the potential energy of the body is equal to 0. Now the mass of the body is m here. So I have taken it to a height h. So this height h. Okay. So the distance of the displacement from the initial position is h. The force acting on the body is mg. Therefore, U will be equal to mgh. Now, I'll take one more small example. Let us say this is h1. Okay, there is one state. I have kept it at one state. What I do, I further take it to another height. Okay, I further take it to, let's say I have got the body to here. Let us say this is h1 and this is h2. Okay, once again I take the body from h1 to h2. What was the initial energy, potential energy? The initial potential energy was mgh1. Now what is the final potential energy? Let me call it as U1. U2 will be equal to mgh2. Okay, so what is the change in energy? The change in energy will be U2 minus U1 is equal to mg into h2 minus h1. So why I have taken this example is to make you understand that from the initial position or the initial state of the body, if you change the state of the body, there will be a change in potential energy. That change in potential energy will be given by the difference in the heights. Okay, where h1 was the initial height here, h2 was the final height. So that h2 minus h1 will give us the change in potential energy. So I am talking about gravitational potential energy. So this is gravitational potential energy. Now let us come to the second type of potential energy, that is elastic potential energy. For your understanding, I will take sponge. Okay, so this has got certain dimensions, certain length, certain breadth. What I do, I press it, I squeeze it. Okay, I have applied some force, I have done some work on the body. Okay, so it has changed its shape, it has changed its size. It has changed its size and it has changed its shape. It has deformed. Okay, so why it has deformed? Because it is having some elastic property. Okay, now due to this change of state and size, it will be having some energy. That potential energy possessed by this body is called as elastic potential energy. Now I release it. It is gaining back its original shape and size. The force that is responsible for this body to gain its original shape and size is called as restoring force of the body. So that restoring force will depend on how much elastic this body is. Okay, so more the elasticity, more will be the restoring force. That means it will gain back its original shape and size. So when you apply force on the body, so this is what type of body is this? This is a non-rigid body. So on non-rigid bodies, when you apply force, what will happen? It will change its shape and size. When it changes its shape and size, it will be possessing some potential energy. That potential energy is called as elastic potential energy. Okay, when I release that force, it will gain its original shape and size. That force which is responsible to bring this body's original shape and size is called as elastic potential energy. To make you understand still, I'll take one more example. You take a small elastic band, you pull it. So when you pull it, when you leave it, it will gain back its original shape and size or not. So why it is gaining back its original shape and size? Because it is possessing its elastic energy. For you to understand whether it is possessing its elastic energy or not, you just leave it on your body, but it will come and hurt you. So what it suggests, it is suggesting that it is having certain amount of force. How a body can gain the force? Only if it has got energy. So what type of energy that elastic band was having? That elastic band was having elastic potential energy. Okay, I am not talking about this formula. We have minus k, h into minus k. So it is out of our syllabus. So I am not talking about that. So how many types of potential energies we have? We have two types of potential energies. The first one is gravitational potential energy, and the second one is elastic potential energy. What is gravitational potential energy? So the work done in bringing a body from infinity to a point in the gravitational field. We call it as gravitational field, potential energy. But for our reference, for our things to be easy, what we take the surface of the earth as potential energy is zero there. So as you move away from the surface of the earth, what will go on increasing? Potential energy will go on increasing. How the potential energy will increase? The potential energy will increase with the formula like mgh. So the change in the potential energy you can calculate as mg into mgh2 minus mgh1 or mg into h2 minus h1. This is what is about our potential energy. Now we have studied what will be the energy or what will be the energy possessed by the body when it is at rest. When it is at rest means when it is at a certain state. So if it is at the ground, its potential energy is zero. As you are working on the body, so the other day, if you remember, I gave you an example of water. So you are doing some work to pump the water from the ground floor to the first floor. Okay. So why you are doing work? You are doing work against the gravitational force. So okay, you are pumping the water. You are using electrical energy to pump the water to the first or second floor. As you pump the water to second floor, what it has gained? It has gained this gravitational potential energy. So it can flow back on its own. Okay, the work, whatever work we have done on water is stored as gravitational potential energy. I hope all of you got an idea about what is gravitational potential energy and what is elastic potential energy. Whenever you apply body force on elastic bodies or non-rigid bodies, what will happen? It will change its size and shape. So as it regains its why it regains its own shape and size? Because it has got potential energy in it. So that potential energy is due to the restoring force in the body. So the restoring force will depend upon how much elastic the body is. Okay. So this is about potential energy or when the body is at rest. The next topic is study about kinetic energy. So next we will study about kinetic energy. So in your lower classes you have studied that the energy possessed by a moving body or a body which is in motion is called as kinetic energy. So there are many examples, or you have seen many examples where you can see that a moving body possesses energy. Say if you take a stone and hit it at a glass, what will happen? The window pane will break. So why it is broken? How it? Because this moving body possesses kinetic energy, and that kinetic energy made the stone to apply force on that window pane or glass pane, so which made it to break. So we can understand that a moving body will always possess some energy, and that energy we call it as kinetic energy. So the kinetic energy, now we'll see how to calculate the kinetic energy. Very simple. Now if a body is moving with certain velocity, let us say a body is moving with certain velocity. Now to bring this body to rest, what I need to do? I need to apply force in the opposite direction. So when I apply force in the opposite direction, so this will be initial velocity, while the final velocity v will be equal to 0. So when I say that I am applying force, I am bringing the body to rest after it travels a certain distance. So when I bring the body to rest, I have done some work on the body. The amount of work I do on the body is nothing but, or the amount of work I do on the body should be equal to the kinetic energy possessed by that body. Okay, that amount of work done will be, or the amount of work done to bring the body to rest is called as the kinetic energy. So now we will calculate how to find out, or we will calculate the equation, we will derive the equation for kinetic energy, the equation for kinetic energy. Let us say a body of mass m moving with velocity v. Now, as I already defined that whatever the work done in bringing a body, a moving body or a body in motion to rest is will be equal to the kinetic energy possessed by that body. This is what I told you. So let us denote the kinetic energy by K. So let us say the work done F into S. Okay, the work done will be equal to F into S. Now what I told, it is moving at the velocity V. So what will be the initial velocity? Initial velocity is equal to V. Then I have applied some force and brought that body to rest. So what will be the final velocity? Final velocity is equal to 0. Okay, final velocity is equal to 0. Now, what was the acceleration? So it was negative acceleration, right? So why negative acceleration? Because we are bringing the body to rest, or the velocity was continuously decreasing before it reaches 0. Okay, therefore A will be equal, so the acceleration will be negative, that is minus A. So let us say it has travelled to a distance S before it has come to rest. Now let us apply this equation, simple equation. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. This is the equation you have learnt in your 9th standard. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. So what is V square here? What is V here? What is the final velocity? Final velocity was 0. What is U square? U square is nothing but the V square. U is nothing but the initial velocity here. Okay, the initial velocity was V. So what we have taken? V square, but the acceleration is negative. Okay, so what I take? V square minus 2AS, or the displacement S will be equal to V square by 2A. So the displacement S is equal to V square by 2A. Why? If you remember, you have studied one formula, that is force is equal to MA. Let us say this equation number 2, let us say this equation number 1, and let us say this is as equation number 3. Okay, so we have taken one body of mass M moving with the velocity V. Therefore, the initial velocity was V. Final velocity, because we apply force in the opposite direction, we bring the body to rest. The final velocity was 0. Because its velocity is continuously decreasing on the application of force, the acceleration will be equal to minus A, or retardation. So we have this formula, V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. So applying this, I get it as S is equal to, our displacement S is equal to V square by 2A. So what I do, I substitute equations 3 and 2 in equation number 1. Okay, so K will be equal to, what is F? We got F is equal to MA into, what we got here? V square by 2A. That is, A and A will get cancelled. So we will be left with K is equal to half mv square. So the equation for kinetic energy K is equal to half mv square. Once again I explain. So what we have got? We have got F is equal to MA. So, okay, I'll explain from beginning once again. So the work done, or the kinetic energy, is equal to the work done by applying a force in the opposite direction and bringing the body to rest. That kinetic energy K is equal to F into S. And we have got F is equal to MA, that I have taken it as equation number 2. So because the initial velocity was 0, final velocity was, initial velocity was V, final velocity is 0, and acceleration is equal to minus A. So we use the formula V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. We got the expression S is equal to V square by 2A. I substituted both the expressions, F is equal to MA and S is equal to V square by 2A. Then I got the formula K is equal to half mv square. Okay. Now we arrived at the formula that kinetic energy K will be equal to half mv square. Now we try to derive the relation between kinetic energy and momentum. Momentum also deals with a body which is in motion, that is P is equal to mv. Now we try to establish the relation between kinetic energy and momentum. For that, let us consider a body of mass m. Let us consider a body of mass m and which is moving at the velocity v. When it is moving at the velocity will be equal to velocity is equal to v, which is moving with the velocity v, then the kinetic energy of the body will be equal to half mv square. This we know. Okay, we already know that the kinetic energy of the body will be equal to half mv square. Then the momentum. So you have learned about momentum in Newton's second law in your 9th standard. So the momentum of the body P will be equal to mv. So I have just transformed the formula, that is v is equal to pm. So what I have done, I have substituted this P is equal to V is equal to P by M in equation number 1, that is half mv square. So what I got, K is equal to half into M into, instead of V, I have substituted P by M. So what we will get? We will get here K is equal to P square by 2M. K is equal to P square by 2M. I have cross multiplied that, I got it as P square is equal to 2mk, where K is the kinetic energy. Therefore, P will be equal to root of 2mk. Okay, so this is the relation between the kinetic energy and momentum P, kinetic energy K and momentum P. Once again I will explain here. So let us consider a body of mass m which is moving at a velocity v. So the kinetic energy of the body will be equal to half mv square. That equation we have taken it as equation number 1. And we know that the momentum of the body will be equal to P is equal to mv. That I have transformed it into V is equal to P by m. That is nothing but equation number 2. What I have done here, I have substituted this equation number 2 in equation number 1. Therefore, I got kinetic energy K is equal to half m into P by m square. Therefore, K will be equal to P square by 2m, or P square is equal to 2mk. Okay, I cross multiplied 2m, I have multiplied here, therefore I get it as P square is equal to 2mk, or P is equal to root of 2mk. Okay, this is the relation between kinetic energy and momentum. Okay, so we have established the relation between kinetic energy and momentum. So in the next session, I will discuss about the work energy theorem and conversion of potential energy to kinetic energy and other forms of energy. There are lots of other forms of energy. As I have discussed in the beginning of this session, light is a form of energy, sound is a form of energy, wind is a form of energy. So all these energies, what the sun can do, how many forms it can be converted to, all these things we will discuss in the next coming sessions. Thank you one and all.